Tonight, the search for a shooter who killed a well-known influencer and wounded two men while in a Lamborghini in Miramar. CBS News Miami.
If I told you that a 21-year-old woman could post on social media 1 minute and be fighting for her life the next, would you believe it? That's exactly what happened to DreamDoll Brii, a young influencer with a growing following, a bright future, and an entire life ahead of her was suddenly caught in a hail of gunfire while riding to the streets of Miramar, Florida. Within seconds, a luxury Lamborghini became a crime scene. Two families were shattered forever, and investigators were left asking one terrifying question. Who wanted someone inside that vehicle dead, and why? Before we go any further, if you enjoy respectful, in-depth true crime stories that focus on the victims and the unanswered questions, please take a second to like this video, subscribe to Crime Abyss, and click the bell icon. Every subscription helps this channel continue telling these stories and ensures victims like Brianna are never forgotten. Now, let's talk about what really happened. DreamDoll Brii, whose real name was Brianna Johnson, was only 21 years old. She had been building a growing following on social media, where people knew her for her confidence, outgoing personality, and glamorous lifestyle. Like many young influencers, she enjoyed sharing moments from her everyday life, posting videos, taking photos, and giving her followers a glimpse into the world she was creating for herself. To many people watching online, she looked like someone with a bright future ahead of her. But as we often see in true crime, social media only shows part of a person's life. Behind every smiling photo is a real human being with family, friends, dreams, and struggles that the internet rarely gets to see. For Brianna's loved ones, she wasn't simply an influencer with thousands of followers. She was a daughter, a cousin, a friend, and someone whose absence would leave a permanent hole in the lives of everyone who knew her. They remember her laugh, her energy, and the way she could light up a room. Those memories are now all they have left. During the early morning hours of July 5th, 2026, Brianna was riding through Miramar, Florida, in a bright lime green Lamborghini with two other people. One of them was her cousin, Arthur Lee Johnson III, who was affectionately known as AJ. The group had reportedly stopped at a nearby gas station early that morning, and at first, nothing appeared unusual. Then everything changed. As the Lamborghini continued down the road, another vehicle pulled alongside it. Without warning, gunfire erupted. The quiet morning was shattered by a barrage of bullets. The Lamborghini's driver lost control, and the vehicle slammed into a nearby home. In just a matter of seconds, what started as an ordinary night ended in unimaginable violence. When first responders arrived, they found a devastating scene. Brianna had suffered critical gunshot wounds. AJ had also been struck. Another passenger was seriously injured but survived. Despite desperate efforts to save them, Brianna and AJ would both lose their lives, leaving investigators with far more questions than answers.
Tonight, the search for a shooter who killed a well-known influencer and wounded two men while in a Lamborghini in Miramar. CBS News Miami obtained surveillance video today that sheds light on some of what happened.
CBS News Miami's Bree Buckley is your reporter working this story live tonight for us in Miramar. Bree.
Home surveillance footage showing the drive-by shooting that killed 21-year-old Brianna Johnson. Police say she was in a green Lamborghini around 5:30 Sunday morning when a white car pulled up, opened fire, and took off. You see the Lamborghini begin to drift and hit the house across the street.
They targeted this particular car for some reason, and we're trying to figure out why.
Two men were taken to the hospital in critical condition. Family members tell CBS News Miami that one of the men is Johnson's cousin. They say the other man was shot in the face and had to have his mouth wired shut, but he is out of the hospital now. This all happened near Southwest 27th Court and Sunshine Boulevard in Miramar. Police have not released a motive yet, but friends of Johnson tell CBS News Miami that there was some type of altercation at a nearby gas station after a 4th of July house party. Johnson is known online as DreamDoll Brii, where thousands have commented their condolences.
Stray bullets can catch anybody. It's not something good to think about. So I hope that, it's just a one-time thing, and then, it led to here.
Some neighbors say they are on edge, worried the barrage of gunfire could have hit someone's home.
As news of the shooting spread, people across Florida and thousands of Brianna's followers struggled to make sense of what had happened. If you ever followed someone online, you know how strange it feels when the person you've been watching suddenly becomes the subject of breaking news. One day they're posting videos, replying to comments, and making plans for the future. The next day, their name is attached to words like homicide and investigation. It's a reminder just how quickly life can change. For Brianna's family, the loss was almost impossible to process. They weren't just mourning a young woman who had become popular on social media. They were mourning someone they had watched grow up. Holidays, birthdays, family gatherings, and ordinary afternoons would never feel the same again. And as if losing Brianna wasn't painful enough, they were also grieving her cousin, Arthur AJ Johnson III, whose life was taken in the very same attack. Imagine receiving that phone call in the middle of the night. One moment you're asleep, and the next you're rushing to a hospital or waiting desperately for someone to tell you that the reports aren't true. Sadly, for these families, the nightmare became reality. As investigators began piecing together the timeline, one detail quickly caught their attention. Before the shooting, the group had reportedly stopped at a nearby gas station. Surveillance footage and witness statements suddenly became some of the most valuable pieces of evidence in the entire case. Detectives wanted to know who was there, whether anyone had been watching group, and if there had been some kind of confrontation before the gunfire erupted. This is where the case becomes even more unsettling. Police have publicly stated that they believe the shooting was targeted. That immediately raises several questions. If someone was specifically targeted, who was it? Was Brianna the intended victim? Was someone else inside the Lamborghini the real target? Or did the shooter simply open fire at everyone inside without caring who was hit? Those questions remain unanswered. One survivor was left to carry not only physical injuries, but also memories that will likely never disappear. Think about that for a moment. Surviving something like this doesn't mean life returns to normal. Imagine hearing the gunshots over and over in your mind, remembering the panic inside the vehicle, and knowing that two people you cared about never made it home. Those emotional scars can last a lifetime. Investigators also examined videos and social media posts from earlier that night. In today's world, almost every moment is documented somehow. Phones record everything. Security cameras watch busy intersections. Businesses have surveillance systems running around the clock. Sometimes the smallest detail, something most people wouldn't even notice, becomes a clue that changes an entire investigation. Even with those resources, solving a case isn't always quick. Detectives have to separate facts from rumors, verify witness accounts, analyze video footage frame by frame, and determine exactly what happened before making an arrest. As the days passed, people online began creating their own theories. Some believed Brianna had been the intended target. Others thought someone else in the vehicle was the focus of the attack. But without evidence, those theories remained exactly that, theories. While social media continued to speculate, investigators stayed focused on one goal: identifying the people responsible and finding enough evidence to bring them before a court of law.
Into the newsroom after a triple shooting in Miramar over the weekend.
Police have confirmed today that a woman was killed after those shots were fired at a Lamborghini SUV driving through the neighborhood. Local 10's Roy Ramos is live at that scene.
And Roy, I know you have the very latest on this investigation, so fill us in.
Yeah, sadly, that woman who lost her life, we've learned, is just 21 years old. But some pretty terrifying moments for residents who live here in this community. They tell me that they heard those shots fired over the weekend. They come outside of their homes to see an SUV absolutely riddled with bullets. It's all happening right in front of the home that you're looking at right here. And we just obtained surveillance video that captured what exactly happened. Take a look at this. New home surveillance video capturing the moments that a Lamborghini SUV pulls up to a stop sign when another car pulls up beside it. Police say shots are fired and that SUV comes to a crashing stop in the driveway of a home. This all happened early Sunday morning near the intersection of Southwest 27th Court and Sunshine Boulevard. Miramar police said that their officers responded to the area following a shot spotter alert. When officers arrived, they discovered inside of that fluorescent green SUV were 3 people shot, 2 men and a woman who were rushed to the hospital in critical condition. But again, we've learned the woman, identified as 21-year-old Brianna Johnson, sadly died from her injuries. Johnson, we've learned, was a social media influencer who went by the handle DreamDoll Brii. But residents we spoke with described the terrifying moments that those shots rang out. Take a listen.
Me and my family supposedly heard what sounded like gunshots around like 5-something, 6 in the morning, something like that. I don't no longer live here with my parents, so it definitely is a little worrisome to know that they're going to be here by themselves and then this stuff is happening around them. especially my grandma, older age. She's always outside. You know, stray bullets can catch anybody. It's not something good to think about.
And right now we are working to get the names of the other 2 victims involved. As soon as we get that information, we'll be sure to let you know. As for what led up to the shooting and who pulled the trigger, well, that now all part of this investigation. For now in Miramar, Roy Ramos, Local 10 News.
As the investigation continued, detectives urged the public to be patient. Cases like this are rarely solved overnight, especially when investigators have to sort through surveillance footage, witness interviews, forensic evidence, and countless tips from the public. Every piece of information has to be verified because one wrong assumption can send an investigation in the wrong direction. At the same time, Brianna's family was facing a different kind of battle. While investigators searched for answers, her loved ones were trying to come to terms with a future that no longer included her. It's hard to imagine the pain of planning a funeral for someone who had barely begun adulthood. 21 years old. That's an age when most people are making plans, chasing dreams, and believing they have all the time in the world. Instead of celebrating new milestones, her family was left looking through old photographs and videos, replaying memories they never imagined would become so precious. And here's something I want you to think about. We often see stories like this flash across our screens for a few days before the internet moves on to the next headline. But for the families involved, the story doesn't end when the news cameras leave. They wake up every single day carrying that loss. Every birthday, every holiday, every family gathering becomes another reminder of the person who should still be there. As investigators work behind the scenes, the community also wanted answers. Who fired those shots? Why that Lamborghini? Was this attack planned long before that night? Or did something happen in the hours leading up to the shooting that set everything in motion? Those are the questions that continue to linger. One thing investigators have been careful about is avoiding conclusions without evidence. Although they believe the shooting was targeted, they have not publicly identified a suspect or confirmed a motive. That distinction is important because in today's world, rumors can spread faster than facts. Social media can turn assumptions into headlines within minutes, and innocent people can find themselves accused without any proof. That's why it's so important to let evidence lead the investigation rather than speculation. For Brianna, the life she shared online represented confidence, ambition, and someone trying to build something for herself. Like many young creators, she wanted to be seen, remembered, and successful. Tragically, she is now being remembered for a reason no family would ever want. Her cousin AJ also deserves to be remembered. Too often, when a case receives national attention because one victim has a public following, the other victims are forgotten. AJ wasn't just another name in a news report. He was someone's son, someone's cousin, someone's friend, and someone whose life mattered just as much. His family is searching for the same thing Brianna's family is searching for: justice. As of now, investigators continue to ask anyone with information to come forward. Sometimes it only takes one witness, one overlooked security camera, or one person deciding they can no longer stay silent for a case to take a dramatic turn. So before we end, I want to leave you with this. How many lives can one decision destroy in just a few seconds? What drives a person to open fire on a vehicle filled with human beings? And if someone out there knows exactly what happened that night, what would stop them from helping bring justice to 2 families that have already lost so much? If you believe victims deserve to be remembered and their stories deserve to be told with respect, please like this video, subscribe to Crime Abyss, and click the bell icon so you never miss another case. Your support helps keep these stories alive and reminds the families that their loved ones will never be forgotten.